Hey guys, what's up? It's PJ here. And I'm recording the 13th video of the Java 2D platformer series today. It's been a long time, actually. I haven't really had time to record anything, but I'm on winter break right now, so I'm planning to get a few videos out while I have some time. So, over the past couple days, I added in moving blocks. So like a platform that'll be moving side to side. And there's a lot of code for it. So this is going to be a fairly long video. So yeah, let's get started. Sorry, one sec, I gotta just edit this so you guys can actually see what's going on. For the programming. So to get started, we are going to create a new class called moving block, and we're going to put this in the objects folder. So you can just call this moving block. Wow, that's actually really big. Hold on. 26. Okay, that's much better. Alright, so moving block. This is very, very similar to the regular block class that we have right now. So we're going to start off by making this extend rectangle. Make sure you import that. And then private static final long serial version UID equals 1 long. Okay. So to get started, we need a few integers. So the first one, left bound and right bound. Now these are going to be like the bounding points at where the moving block cannot continue to go left or right, and it's going to bounce back and move to the left or the right based on which one it was just moving. So also a private int move, and we're going to set this equal to 1, and a private int ID. So these are the only 3 variables we really need. So to get started, we're going to create a constructor, public moving block, and this is going to take 5 different field parameters: x, y, ID, left bound, and right bound. Okay. So, what we're going to first do is set the bounds of our rectangle, if I can spell anything right, and that'll be x, y, and block size, because we want to have these be the same size as our regular blocks in the game, and block size again. Then we're just going to set ID equal to ID, right bound, and and left bound. Okay. So that's it for our constructor. That's all we have to do. Now we're going to create 4 more methods. These are all fairly simple. First one is going to be our tick method. We didn't really need that for the regular block class, but we need it for this one because we have to move the actual block, and we need a tick method to do that. We don't want to do everything in the draw. And speaking of draw, we need a draw method. And then 2 getters. So public int get move and public int get ID. Now in both of these we can return ID and then return move. And just import graphics. Okay. So let's get started with the tick method. First things first, what we want to do is create an if statement for the right bound. So if our x value of our moving block plus our width, because we want to hit on the right side, minus game state dot x offset, because we want to have it on the map, and then is greater than or equal to right bound minus game state dot x offset and move does not equal 1. I'm gonna fix this up a little bit so we can actually see everything at once. Okay, so that's our if statement. I'm actually gonna make just the font just a little bit smaller. Okay, that's a lot better. Alright. Now, what are we going to do when this condition is true? Well, so what's happened right now is that the right side of our block has hit its bound. Its right bound. So what we want to do is we want to just make the move opposite by multiplying by -1, so it'll go to the left. Now the next one, if x minus game state dot x offset is less than or equal to left bound, because we want to have the left side, minus game state dot x offset, and move does not equal 1, then we want to have the move times equals -1. So it's just going to move to the right this time. Now, let's put this in brackets. Now, our last thing is just x plus equals move. So, whatever direction it's going, it's just going to move in that direction. Alright, so now we got to add the draw. If ID does not equal 0, we don't want to draw anything if it's an error block, g.draw image, images dot blocks ID minus 1. So we're going to grab the first index because it's going to be a 1 for now. And then x minus cast an int game state dot x offset, y minus game or int game state dot y offset. Let's just bring this down. Oop. Come on, there we go. Then width, height, and null. Now we need to import images because we have not done that, and oh, we just don't need a, there it is, sorry, I didn't even see it. We don't need that parentheses right there. Okay, so that's going to draw our moving block. Yeah, that's it for this class. Okay, so let's move on to actually loading it in. Actually, we'll start the map. Hold on real quick. Sorry, I have a temporary so I can actually like see what I'm doing, you know, what I did before. Okay, so if we go into our maps and we open up our map, right now we have a width and a height, and then nothing after that. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to add a blank line and then another line. Okay, so on this line after the blank line, we're going to put in the number of moving blocks we want to have. So that'll be 1 for now. Then what we're going to put in is the first value will be the x, then the y, then the ID, then the left bound and the right bound. Now these left bounds and right bounds are actually the coordinates, like, so we have a grid and we have coordinates of the grids. That's the x and y left bound, the left bound, but we're going to multiply that by the block size so we have an actual pixel value. Also with these, its actual location is not 2, -2. It would be, since our block size is 64, it would be 128, -128, if that makes any sense. Okay. So now we're going to add loading these blocks in. So we're going to go to our map class. So right now we have our loading for just the regular blocks. Now we need to add that for the new blocks. So first things first, we're going to create a new a new thing called an array list. Now, array lists can be added and removed from fairly easily, and they're resizable, unlike arrays. So this works quite well. So this will not be blocks, it'll be moving block, and we'll just call this moving blocks. Alright, now make sure you import array list and moving blocks. So in our load map method right here, all the way after this last for loop, we're going to read the line two times. So actually what we're going to do is just create a new private string line up here. So you can just reuse it, you know, more simpler. So what we're just going to do is line equals br.readLine, and line equals br.readLine. So this is just going to read the blank line, and then this one reads the number of our blocks that we want to have. So what we can do is just have int length equals integer.parse int line. So this will be the length of our array list, so how many blocks we have. Now let's initialize our array list. So moving blocks equals new array list, moving block. I know this syntax is a little weird, so just put those parentheses outside. Now we gotta have a for loop. So for int I equals 0, I is less than length I plus plus. Okay. So what we're going to do is first read the line. Line equals br.readLine. What we're doing now is we're going to read, so if we look, we read the blank line, then we read our length. Now we're reading this entire line. So what we need to do now is we need to split this into tokens like we did before. So string array of strings tokens equals line.split double backslash s plus. So this is going to split the it's going to split the line into different tokens based on spaces. So now we just need to make our moving blocks. So moving blocks.add new moving block. Now this is where it gets really, really long, and I apologize for this. So the first thing we have to do is integer.parse int tokens 0. Now you're going to want to copy this integer.parse int because this just gets really long. Alright. And that's going to be multiplied by block.block size because we want our x to be an actual pixel value, not just a coordinate on the grid. Now, paste that integer.parse int to tokens 1 times, yikes, okay, I'm sorry, I gotta move this down, times block size, and then we add another apostrophe, or comma, I apologize, integer.parse int tokens 2, now tokens 3 times block size, so 3 would be our left bound, and then last one, tokens 4 times block size. And we have an error. Okay. There we go. So just remove that and add a parenthesis on the end. I'll just scoot this down 1, 2. Okay, so what we did, I know that was kind of hard to read. What we did was we created a new moving block, and then we put in our x value times block.block size, our y value times block.block size, our ID, and then our left bound and our right bound. So that's all that we have to do for our map class. Now, what we have to do is player class now, because we have to add collisions for this. So player, this is where it gets really fun, especially with this big font, because you can't see. So we're going to copy and paste this entire if statement. So do that, and we're going to do this for our moving blocks. So for int I equals 0, I is less than, actually we have to change a lot of things now that I think about it. Map. I apologize, I forgot something. So what we got to do is create a getter for our moving blocks. So moving block, get moving blocks, and then we'll just return moving blocks. Okay, so if we go to level 1 state, we're going to want to do, in the player.tick, we want to do map.getMovingBlocks. Okay, it's gonna give you an error right now. Then we go back to player, and we go to our tick method, and then in the parameters we're going to add an array list of moving block, and we'll call this moving blocks. Okay, and import array list and moving block. And did I spell it wrong? Hold on. Let me just see what's wrong here. Okay, import array list. Import moving block. Okay, I don't know. Eclipse was just getting weird there. And we have to re-import everything. So import collision point, import everything. And you should be fine. It probably didn't happen to you guys. It might have just been on my end. Okay. So, again, we need to copy and paste this entire collision if statements, because we don't really want to type those out again. So down below all this, we go for int I equals 0. I is less than moving blocks dot size. Array list takes a different, it's not length, it's size. Not size, I++. So this is going to loop through all of our moving block array lists that we just put into the method. Now we want to make sure if moving blocks dot get ID does not equal 0, because we do not want to do collisions for an air block. That would be ridiculous. Okay, now we can paste all this in, and we're going to get some errors. Lots of errors. So what we have to do is we're going to highlight this whole thing, however long it is, and do Control F. Now what we want to do is we want to find wherever there is a B, I, J. We want to replace this with moving blocks dot get I. Now if we do that, we shouldn't have any error on that. But now we can't do a player block collision because if we go back to our collision class here, player block takes block and point. So what we need to do is we need to create a new method, public static boolean player moving block, and this will also take a point P and a block B, and do the same thing. B contains P. Return B contains P. Okay, we still have a lot of errors to deal with. So if we go back here again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to highlight this entire thing, Control F, and we're going to look for find player block and replace with player moving block. Replace all. Oh, what? Okay, go back to collision. I apologize. This should have been moving block. I typed block again. That would be doing the same thing. And make sure you import. So, oh geez. Okay, go back to player class. Now, I believe that is it for the player class that we need to change. Actually, no, it's not. So we need to go down to this bottom collision. And we want to make it so the player moves with the block. So what we're going to do is game state.x offset plus equals moving blocks dot get I dot get move. So this is just going to move the player the same amount that the block is moving. Not too challenging. Okay, now B dot contains P. It's a rectangle, it should work. I apologize for this. I do not know why everything is freaking out. Let's just run it and see what happens. Oh, cool, we have a block. Ah, that is beautiful. Fantastic. Okay. That's very good. We have a moving block, and I've noticed that there are some problems with it, though, and I have not fixed that yet, but I will in the next video, actually. So, what the problems are is that if we do this and it's moving towards us, we get pushed up to the top, which is not right. And also, if we collide with the bottom, we can see that our jumping is smaller after we collide with the bottom. And I think I know why, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to have to test that out. But yeah, I don't know why this is still saying that there's an error. Let me refresh and see what happens. Because obviously the collision is working. So I think, it's just Eclipse is being weird today for some reason. I'm not exactly sure, because there's no errors in here. But we also need to call map.tick. Oh geez. Oh geez. Let's see, what did we do here? Well, I'm just going to finish it at this, so I don't keep you guys any longer. Thank you guys very much for watching and for staying with me through this series. I know it's been a while, so I apologize for the long time you had to wait, and I'm hoping to get some more videos out, and I'm going to fix whatever is causing all these errors, but at least we have moving blocks. I'm going to fix that next time, and I'm pretty sure that it should be working. Oh, that's the problem. Okay, I was running my other version, so we are not done. I apologize. there are still problems here. Okay. Let's figure this out. Okay, so what we need to do is in our class map, we need to create a map tick method. So in here, we're going to create a public void. I thought something wasn't right. Public void tick. And in here, we're going to do loop through moving blocks. For into I equals 0. I is less than moving blocks dot get size. No, that size. Sorry. I plus plus, and then moving blocks, then moving blocks dot get I dot tick. And in here we need to draw our moving blocks, so for into I equals 0, I is less than moving blocks dot size, I plus plus, and then moving blocks dot get I dot draw G. Okay. Let's see, let's run this. Actually, no, we gotta go back to level 1 state, and then in here do map.tick. I thought we created a map.tick. We did create a map.tick. Okay, let's run this really quick and see what happens. Okay. Oh, there's an extra. There was an extra one in there. Okay. Let's run this real quick and see what happens. Okay, we have our moving block. Okay. So it's the same as my other version, except for that. Hold on real quick. Here it is. Okay, so this should be -1. If we go to moving block, and in our right bound collision, it should be not equal -1. There we go. Okay, cool. So we have a working moving block. I mean, it has the same issues that the other one did, but it's not done. We're gonna fix it. So thank you guys. Sorry for the mishap with running the wrong one. That is totally my bad. I apologize. But thank you very much for staying with me through this series. I'm sorry about the long wait, and I hope you continue to watch, and make sure you leave a like, subscribe, do whatever you want. I'm just very happy that you're watching my videos. Thank you very much, and see you next time.